Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Leo for May 2017. Go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, see what's new in my blog, and while you're there, sign up for my free email newsletter, which makes you part of my community and gives you perks like getting a write-up for the upcoming month, a month early, so that you have a visual version of the things that I talk about for the general transits into your inbox. So what's going on in the month of May? We've got movement and manifestation to the max. This is a month that we have been waiting for. Action-oriented signs like Leo especially really enjoy getting things done, doing things, being active, and having that be in the outer realms, shining bright with creative inspiration and leadership. We've been in this mode of going backwards and having to tie up loose ends and being very internal, and that has its own wonderful rewards. And as a fire sign myself, I definitely have started to really love the retrogrades, which I didn't always because it's all about action, and external action. But there's definitely a lot of blessings that come from that time. But this is a time we've been waiting for since the end of 2016 to really have clear forward movement. There will be some little hindrances here and there as things get regulated. We still have some shadow periods for Mercury and Venus to work off. And the first week or so of the month is a little bit chaotic with Mercury retrograde Mercury going direct on the 3rd, and then it just being a little chaotic while it regulates orbit. But besides that, we're going to have amazing transits for pushing things forward. I'm calling the theme of the month for Leo blissful expansion, because one of the houses that is very nicely lit up for all of you, that's early, middle, and late degree placements, is the 9th house. And the 9th house is a fellow fire house. So whenever there's activity in a house, in a sign that flows beautifully with your own, it fuels you. So even though we have the sun in Taurus for most of the month, we've got a lot of energy in Aries and a lot of energy in Gemini. And Aries being a fire sign and Gemini being an air sign, all of this fuels your Leo energy. So you might notice at this time of the year, you always get kind of amped up. You get excited, you want to do stuff. And this is actually a time when astrologically, you can actually go do all of this stuff. It's really coming together in a nice way to expand your horizons. Also, when the 9th house is nicely lit up, we have this optimism that comes, which, it's a buoy. It lifts up the energy from the doldrums. Sag energy is just the eternal optimist. And when you have energy in that house, it brings this buoyancy, this lifting up, this sunflower opening up to the sun energy. So you could have a lot of spiritual advancement. You could have some opportunities having to do with teaching, learning, traveling long distance, different countries, different cultures, international business, writing, publishing, editing, speaking, any book projects, writing projects are all amazing at this time. There's also the energy related to church or spirituality. So if you're involved in a group surrounded by your spiritual beliefs, or in line with your spiritual beliefs, there could be something notable that happens there. The other house that's accentuated for all Leo placements, early, middle, and late, is the 10th house. And the 10th house is the house of career and work and life purpose. So you might really have some opportunities to get recognized at work, or have a new job, or feel more like you're on track. The energy of Leo is the energy of the sun, and the sun is the center of our experience from our perspective on Earth. We're in a heliocentric reality. I believe that this is supporting this understanding that we're here to be conscious creators in this life, that there's a game of creation that, despite the challenges and difficulties and things that go on in this crazy earth plane, that we are here to be conscious co-creators and creatrixes. And the more we get the things out of the way that are interfering with that vitality, with that manifestation capacity, the more we really play the game. And the more you know how to play the game, the better you do at it, and the more fun it is and the more fulfilling. So you definitely have a lot of energy this month for getting better at playing the game of life. there is a piece of information that I picked up from Mike Dooley. Must have heard of him way back when I listened to The Secret, like 10,000 years ago, but I never got into his work, and he just came into my field recently like a rocket, and he's actually in my state, so I might have to find him. But in any case, I am very big on manifestation. I do lots of blogs about it. I do videos about using astrological transits, making your wishes. And there's this question that comes up for conscious light workers, which is, if you're supposed to be in the present moment, focusing on the here and now, then how can you be creatively visualizing and feeling something as if it's coming true, to create things in the future and be a manifester, right? So he gave the answer to that question, which is reminding us that when we use our creative faculties to light up, to imagine as if, to see and to feel something as if it's coming true, we don't really need to do that for very long of a time. He sets his clock to do it for 4 minutes. 4 minutes is all he spends with his creative manifestation ritual. And the rest of the time, you're free to be in the present moment. You're free to be enjoying what you have created, be present with everyone and everything that's in your life. And then you do your daily manifestation for your 4 minutes. And then you're working both ends of what we're trying to balance here as spiritual beings. So I just wanted to give that piece to you, since your 9th house is so well lit up, and since the house of your life purpose is so much lit up, figuring out what Spirit wants for us and then aligning our will with what Spirit wants for us is really where it's at, because there's our desires and then there's Spirit's desires for us. So the more finely tuned you get your energy fields, the easier it is to recognize when you see something that Spirit wants for you. The way I describe it when I feel it is like all of the cells in my body lift and light up like big sunflowers. It's like they stretch out towards Spirit. And that's how I know that it's something not just my, a superficial want or something that my ego wants, when it's something that Spirit wants. And then when you get that nudge to differentiate, when you align your full power with what Spirit wants for you, you're an unstoppable force. So those are 2 houses that are very nicely lit up for you. There's something else with the full moon I want to talk about. The early and middle degree placements will experience the full moon on May 10th in the 4th house. So completion, fruition, possibly drama, possibly manifestation, positive manifestation, coming for most of you in that 4th house of home and family. So real estate projects, something involving an unresolved psychological issue from childhood that's making itself manifest now. A thing with your family, a thing involving your home, for better or worse. For the first, like 2/3 of the sign. Even some of you late degree placements, you could have some of that potential there. But the rest of the late degree placements, so towards the end of the sign, or like the 20 to 29 degrees if you're watching for your rising sign, that full moon for you is going to be in the 3rd house. So that makes it more likely for y'all that something could be up with your car, with your devices, your phone, your computer, something like that. Something could reach completion, fruition, fulfillment. If you have to get a new device or a car, and this is for all of you, it's more likely from this aspect for the later degree placements, but this can happen for any of you, of course. This is the first good month to get one of those things. So if you can try to steer clear from the Mercury retrograde, I like the 9th and on. There are some little dicey dates to move around, but you can feel into them. If there's a date that we say is good, that astrologers say is good, and you're having a terrible day that day, it might not be the day to do it. If you're feeling really good energy in the days before it's supposed to be a good transit, use that for your manifestation, because it could be that it's manifesting for you early. So just kind of follow what Spirit is nudging you along here as we give you these things to look out for. But there's a lot of amazing energy around getting your devices, your communication, your mobility up and running. It's going to be a very, very busy month. Lots of thinking, lots of talking, lots of communicating, lots of movement, travel, things like that. So just stay well rested so you don't get sick. And now I want to talk more about these specific dates with the specific transits and what I think you need to know about them, including this glorious trine between Saturn and Sag and Uranus and Aries, which is a very rare transit that we're experiencing since last year on and off, and now it's coming current again in May. So I want to talk about all these things and how you can max them out. So I'm calling the theme of the month of May for all signs, movement and manifestation to the max. This is the month that we have been waiting for through all of the retrograde cycles that started at the end of 2016. So there are definitely going to be major opportunities for the launches, for the trips, for the action, for the activity, for the big decisions. And we have some really amazing transits that line up with this clearing of the retrogrades. So I'll just go in order about the notable dates and the transits on those dates. Do know that when you sign up for my free email newsletter on my website, anniehelpsyou.com, I do a write-up, a general write-up for the month ahead, so that you have a lot of the points that I talk about written down, and it's easier to refer to for your planning purposes. So you can check that out too. So on May 3rd, this is the day that Mercury goes direct, and Mercury goes direct at 24 degrees of Aries. So if you have any planets close to there, of course, you'll be affected more than others or in aspect to them to that degree. But everyone will likely experience more chaos around the days that Mercury goes direct. So it would be a false idea to think, oh, today Mercury is direct, now today or tomorrow I will go and do all these things and make all these decisions and try to get all this stuff done. You'll feel it when you pay attention that the energies are very chaotic the days before and the days after a planet goes retrograde, or the days before or the days after it goes direct. So I say give it a few days, several days after the 3rd, before you start taking action. I know your little horsey's chomping at the bit, waiting through 5 months of retrograde energies to try to do things, but do wait just a little longer. On May 9th, we've got the first day that I consider really, really good to start doing some things. You have to feel in to see if your launches or things like that would be good on this day, but I like a little bit later in the month because the shadow energies start to clear more. But this is certainly a day when the Sun in Taurus makes a trine to Pluto in Capricorn, where you have tremendous power aligning with your desires. So you could, just feel into it. This could be a day to do some of the things on your list. On May 10th, we have the full moon at 20 degrees of Scorpio, and at the same time we have a Uranus and Mercury conjunction. So full moons usually bring fullness, completion, drama. Sometimes they bring happy tears, sometimes they bring stress, but there is this fullness, this completion, this coming to fruition of anything in the area of Scorpio. So something having to do with an intimate relationship, a business partnership, a financial relationship or agreement, something with esoteric studies. Many people can have major spiritual transformation that occurs at this time, or insights that occur. If someone is doing research or looking into a mystery, sometimes this energy can bring answers that you've been looking for, that you've been delving deep, searching for. The fact that Uranus and Mercury are going to make this conjunction at the same time always alerts me to watch your head and your brain, because Uranus in Aries, Uranus brings surprises, it could bring jolts. Mercury is like your movement, and it just always behooves us to guard your head, especially during this time, especially since the full moon is bringing excess of drama and emotions. And sometimes, everybody knows that people get a little more crazy at the full moon, right? Even people that don't believe in astrology know that that's true. So I like to leave a little space around the full moons so that whatever comes up, you can be fully present for them. So that's May 10th, the full moon in Scorpio. On May 11th, we have a square with Mars in Gemini to Neptune in Pisces. And so how I see this energy coming together as a potential is information overload, action overload, things to do, just kind of energy and movement combining with chaos and confusion, so this might be a day to step back. I always like to remind you that even though I give you the dates of the transits, sometimes we feel the energy of the planets coming together on the days before or the days after the actual transit. So you really need to fill in or feel in to fill in with your intuition if a day is good for something. Just because we say today is a good day in the cosmos, if you're having a bad day that day and things are not flowing for you, maybe you don't want to align with trying to make a big decision or do something on that day just because it happens to be a quote good transit. Sometimes you'll feel the good energy days before, so if you're feeling it, everything is aligning. You don't have to necessarily wait for the exact day the transit happens. If it's a positive transit, you can take advantage of that energy when you feel it beforehand as well. So I just wanted to point that out. So, so this Mars in Gemini and Neptune in Pisces aspect could bring some action and information overload. So just kind of draw back a little bit. That is the other thing to know about this month. Although there are definitely energetic clearings going on, the planets are going direct that were retrograde, the shadows, or at least Mercury is, the Venus retrograde shadow transit is going to be over this month. We'll talk about that later. Mercury retrograde transit or shadow will be over later. There's this clearing out going, kind of opening up some room for action and things to happen. But it's this energy is interspersed with these little challenging moments. So you really just have to feel your way through to see which is a good time to do what and to take best advantage of the good energy when you're feeling it. Okay, so also on May 11th, Mercury in Aries is going to make a trine to Saturn and Sag. And so this energy is really good for good news and forward movement, especially on long-term projects. So the fact that it's so close to the full moon and this other aspect with Mars and Neptune, you just have to feel your way through. Feel when you're feeling that good energy flowing, then jump on that and take your actions at that time. On the 14th, the nodes, I started talking about the North and South node in transit last month in the April report. The North node in transit shows us keys to our highest expression. And right now, on May 14th, the nodes change to the polarity of Leo and Aquarius. And so when the North Node is transiting in Leo, it's pointing for all of us to have more energy towards following our bliss. That's what Leo energy is about, is living in this constant manifestation of these true desires. A true desire is not necessarily a chocolate cake, or a purse or something like that. The true desires, the ones that spirit wants for us, aligns for us. And who knows, maybe a purse or a chocolate cake could be part of that if it's part of something bigger for somebody. I have no judgment on the desires. We just have to be careful that addictions don't cloud the way of true desires that spirit wants for us, So when we really, really, really want something, it's usually because spirit really, really wants that for us. And when we align our energies with where spirit is directing us, we become an unstoppable force for manifestation. So with the transiting node moving into Leo, we're all going to have years of support for following our bliss. It reminds me of the quote by Joseph Campbell. If you haven't studied his work, he's amazing. He basically, this is, loosely, he talks about how when you follow your bliss, doors open that weren't there before. Not even doors necessarily that were closed, just like doors open from places where there just weren't any doors. When you follow your bliss, you align with that energy, you supercharge yourself for manifestation. So this is really good news for me for assisting everyone in following that bliss, because the universe is really supporting this at this time. So on May 18th, we have a nice angle between the Sun in Taurus and Chiron in Pisces. Chiron is an asteroid, it's the wounded healer. And it talks about how our weak spots can actually be our greatest strengths. So when we have a nice angle here, it's showing us that we have a chance to easily convert a weakness to a strength. That's what Chiron to me is all about. So when you have something at a nice angle to it, it means that conversion can be relatively easy. When you have Chiron in a challenging angle, then that conversion can be a little bit stressful. But this is like a nice little sweet spot here, in the middle of the month, where something that was serving to hinder you actually serves as your springboard. So around May 19th, we have this amazing long-term story, beautiful aspect between Saturn and Sagittarius and Uranus and Aries. So we've talked about outer planets, how when they get together, they create these long-term challenges, which could be opportunities or just straight opportunities. So this is just straight up opportunity for harmonious transitions. The first time Saturn and Uranus came together in this configuration in recent times was December 24th of 2016. So here now, May 19th, is our second run of this story. And then the third run they'll connect again on November 11th. And they won't come together again like this until 2047. So this is a really rare aspect, and it is one that is a theme for the whole year from the end of 2016 through the end of 2017. And this month of May, and actually for the end of April, all of May, and almost half of June, Saturn and Uranus are in this amazing close proximity that's just opening doors, just like we were talking about for following your bliss. So it's really supercharged. And so the energies are also both in fire. And fire means action. You know, if you know anyone or you have a lot of fire energy of your own, this is an action-oriented energy. Like, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? Let's do something. So when you have these outer planets in this wonderful aspect, they want to help you do something really big. So this is the type of energy that's amazing for all huge transitions, like major crossroads. Changes in all areas of life are very much supported. And now that we have the personal planet retrogrades clearing up, it's really opening up the way for these changes that have been pending to really start to manifest. The same day, May 19th, we have this opposition with Venus and Aries to Jupiter in Libra. This is the opposition that I worry least about in general, because Venus and Jupiter are the two benefics, the nice planets basically of the zodiac. So when they get together, even in an ornery angle, it's not as much of a challenge or an issue as oppositions with other planets are, because they kind of like each other, you know? So I could see two main possible manifestations from this. Of course, there are unlimited manifestations, but one could be overindulgence in fun. So just excess of fun, spending, partying, whatever. That is more common at this time. Just having way too much fun. And the other way I can see this happening is a burnout from balancing me and we. Like, you could be getting in a really good groove with tending to your own things and tending to your stuff with relationship. Because Aries and Libra are this, this polarity of me and we. So you could just be burnt out from balancing me and we. And that could be how it manifests. And this same day, on May 19th, is when the Venus shadow period from the retrograde passes completely. So ever since April 15th, when Venus went direct, we've been in this shadow period where, even though it was moving forward, it was kind of still getting back to full strength. So now on this day, it's back at full strength, and we're not going to have to work with this for, a long time, till the end of 2018, as far as the Venus retrograde goes. On May 21st, the Mercury shadow clears. So in that time between, the first few days after Mercury goes direct, so May 3rd, after that, I'm saying like May 9th is a good time to start, pushing some things forward. From May 9th until the 21st, you're still having a little bit of shadow stuff to deal with, but it doesn't mean you can't get some stuff done. But now, as of the 21st, you have this completely open period from personal planets retrograde or their shadow periods until July 24th. So make the most of your taking action, doing things, going places, making decisions, moving forward. Then on May 25th, we have the new moon at almost 5 degrees of Gemini. New moons always bring new opportunities, and the more you make your wishes in alignment with the energy of the sign, the more the universe can help them come true. So you get 10 new moon wishes. You can check out my blog called Making Powerful New Moon in Gemini Wishes, or you can just go to anniehelpsyou.com, click on blog, and then put a search for new moon in Gemini, and you'll find it. So you can see the types of things that are Gemini related that you can wish for that help to push your wishes even further. That new moon is also squaring Pluto. So there could be some challenges with people, authority figures, or unknown pieces, or some sort of forces that seem to be working against you. This is one of those examples this month, as I was saying, there's like all these energies moving forward, but they're like little hindrances, little obstacles in the way. So if you're feeling a little bit of a pushback, then just honor the flow and just wait until you're feeling the flow move forward again, instead of pushing against it. On May 28th through the 29th, Mars in Gemini is going to be opposing Saturn in Sagittarius. So this could be another one of those hiccups in progress where, Saturn, this taskmaster, comes in and opposes Mars, this planet that wants to move forward and take action. It's like a little bit of, hey, you have to do something with your responsibility here, or here's a little piece you didn't keep up with that you have to take care of before you can continue spiraling forward. And it is very much a spiraling energy because the energy of Gemini moves in an upward spiral. So you'll notice this month is just full of, even though we have energy in Taurus as well, which is more grounded, there's more of a predominant energy in like the Aries and Gemini, which is like making everything spin, busyness, lots of information, lots of talking, lots of thinking, lots of doing, lots of going places. So then on May 30th, Mars in Gemini will make a nice angle to Uranus, and this is a really great day to put a brilliant plan in action. Uranus rules taking chances, taking risks, doing something forward thinking, and Mars again rules action. So when they come together in a nice angle, this gives really good support for taking a brilliant idea and putting it into action. On the 31st, Mercury in Taurus will make a lovely trine with Pluto in Capricorn. So this is like grounded action fueled by emotional or lesser seen support. Pluto is stuff in the backdrop. It could be spiritual, mystical stuff. It could be, a person or an entity with money that is supporting you. But it's something that is positively expressing or positively supporting your expression at this time. So these are the things that are most on my mind. Again, the theme this month is movement and manifestation to the max. I hope that this helps you to take more advantage of the opportunities that will be at play this month. If you haven't already signed up for my free email newsletter, then definitely do that on my website, anniehelpsyou.com, because you get the write-up of the month that's coming. I always send that out a month early, just like I do the horoscopes a month early, so that you can prepare. And some people need to see things more than just hear them, and that written report will give you information in a visual way. Also, I might have some slots still open in my Creating Successful Online Business if you'd like to be free from your geography. I'm not yet enrolling for my Astrology Apprenticeship Program and my Coach Certification course, but it's coming soon when I will be. So if you think you might be interested in those courses, they do fill up quickly. You can go to my website and click on anniehelpsyou.com, click on Work With Me, and send me an email through where it says this class is full and in progress. If you send me an email through there, I'll put you on the list to have first chance at open slots when they come, if you're really interested in working with me. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.